So this is one of those videos that I don't want to make necessarily, but at the same time I feel a need to make it, and I'll talk more about this at the end of this one if you guys are interested in sticking around. Either way, over this past weekend, an issue arose around Fallout 76. Many of you guys actually reached out to me about this, saying that, hey, I can't play the game. And at the core of all of this, it was more or less when you try and log into the game, you would actually get this error. This account is not authorized, error 482,000. And what ensued was a lot of people trying to figure out why they were getting this error. Some of them getting different answers. I actually think this highlights something about Bethesda's support system that needs to somewhat be addressed, but I'll explore that topic in this video also. But of course, something to note with this, it seems like it really started to gain traction on Saturday, so once the weekend in most places had already started, and I think that's actually a big component of what contributed to the confusion and differing reports we're seeing as of right now. So with issues like this, it's obviously pretty hard to gauge how widespread it is, outside of just counting each individual report by individual posters, but overall, if you look around, it seems like there at the very least is hundreds of people affected. You could find numerous back and forth tweets between the Bethesda support Twitter and individuals getting this issue, but even on some things like various subreddits or even the official Bethesda.net forums, there are quite a few posts out there with quite a few comments, and you have to assume based on the views, there's also a lot of people not even participating that are having this issue. So I would say a conservative estimate would be in the hundreds, but it seems very plausible that across all three different platforms, it could be even in the thousands. Although there are still plenty that can play the game fine. If you go in game, you can find other people on your servers, and I personally haven't had any issues. So in the quest of actually getting a response to this, we've seen several different answers from Bethesda support. The most widespread right now, especially if you just tweet at the official Bethesda support Twitter, is actually linking to this article. This provides itself as somewhat of a response to this, as it was actually updated just earlier today. Effectively, what it says is, if you're getting this error, it could be because you never redeemed your game code and are trying to play. Like if you bought the beta, played through the beta, then tried to continue playing after the beta. Naturally, with a lot of these reports, it's not that. It's people that have been playing for the past 3 months or so and have just now lost the ability to log in. Alternatively, it gives you a couple of other solutions such as scanning and repairing, or alternatively contacting Bethesda customer support. It doesn't really seem like the solution of scanning and repairing this is working too well because, well, there still are a lot of people with the problem. But when you actually go the route of contacting Bethesda customer support, we get something interesting, especially in the variety of responses we're seeing. It seems as if some of the time others are actually getting the same article that I did just show you and the support on Twitter is linking, but some other people are actually getting this email saying that they in fact were banned, and even further that they're going to remain banned until a certain update brings an unban wave to several different dupers. Naturally, following this, a lot of people are reporting, hey, no, I never had over 100,000 items, this ban must be incorrect. It is important to remember that just a couple of weeks ago, there were people saying this very same thing. Bethesda came out after the fact and said, no, they actually were rightfully banned. So I would be wary of that, but just something different this time around is there are a lot of people saying they've been banned, or rather they're unable to log in, and they never had over 100,000 items. But there's actually even some more oddity here. With this glitch or error, it seems like the vast majority of people never got a ban email. In the past, when people got bans, a lot of the times they got banned, and then at the same time they got an email reporting the ban to them. I actually think notification of a ban, or rather not ban, is one of the biggest parts of the confusion here. It seems like effectively what happened was people couldn't log in, then some just did nothing. They sat there and were like, all right, I guess something's wrong. Other people actually reached out to Bethesda support. Some of those got the response saying, hey, you've been banned, and they got shown this message. Some other people got different responses saying, hey, maybe try this or try this. Many people were reporting they actually just got the generic response that you've been seeing posted by the Bethesda support Twitter account. But then starting today, it seems like actual ban emails are going out to some people, but not everyone. So there's certain individuals out there that couldn't log in for the past 48 hours, but then today, 48 hours later, actually got notification that they were banned for duplication exploits or having over 100,000 of some kind of rare item. The ban email itself is also interesting because it seems like we're going to have a new duping glitch patched in the next update, but also a lot of these people should be getting unbanned, which is an odd choice from Bethesda. In the past, we've actually talked about how certain bans weren't permanent for duping, and after people appealed, they actually had options for getting unbanned. Things like just just deleting that character or wiping the character, although some did end up just getting a permanent ban as you would expect. That raises the question as to why was it with this wave of bans Bethesda decided to be a bit more lenient and just to give everyone flat out temp bans. Was it like this duplication glitch was a bit more innocent? Were they not as confident in their criteria for who they're banning? Could there be some false positives in here and this is their safety net? And what I would say is actually just some support of that. If you actually look at the email itself, you'll see that it says, we've determined that this account has acquired over 100,000 of one or more rare in-game items within 30 days of gameplay. So a lot of people who are arguing they never actually broke in-game rules are questioning, is it just because I've been trading a lot or I actively have been selling things, so I had over 100,000 caps pass through my hands over the past month or so? In particular, it seems like a lot of the people who are reporting these bans are fairly high-level players that play the game pretty frequently. So are these just potential false positives or are they people lying? Bethesda has actually given kind of a response. They responded to one of the many threads that have popped up around this. I don't know why this one. It's actually fairly old, at over 24 hours old at this point. So unless you're like looking for it directly or had it and refreshed it, you probably won't see this update. In that response, they basically just reaffirmed that yes, the people who are getting this error code have been banned from the game. That is why they're getting this error code. So now it really comes to the question, do you believe Bethesda that they are with 100% accuracy banning these accounts, or do you believe all of the people claiming that they didn't actually do these things? Some people have gone a step further with contacting support and gotten back and forths regarding what items apparently they had over 100,000 of or interacted with over 100,000 of over the past 30 days. And many of these users are saying, no, I never did that. That's totally inaccurate. There's no way I had that many of that item. Even further, the question does arise if, let's say you just kind of picked it up. In my own experience with Fallout 76, there's been times I've seen dupers, they dropped a bunch of items, and I had the opportunity to pick up tens of thousands of a various item. Let's just say this was scaled up a bit to 100,000. I never picked that up, but let's say I did. Would that mean I'm caught in this most recent ban wave? If you look right now on the Fallout 76 subreddit or the Bethesda.net forums, there's just increasing posts of people saying, hey, I didn't do anything wrong and I've gotten a ban for this. One of the hilarious aspects of this is actually one of the top posts yesterday that was just talking about the game, mentioning some of the best farming locations, now has the user coming back today reporting that he was also caught in this ban wave. So I think there's actually a couple of takeaways about this entire situation. As far as what's true or what's not true, I don't really know. There are a lot of people saying they were wrongfully banned, more than there ever have been with any of the other ban waves that are out there right now. And even by Bethesda's own description, it certainly sounds like a system that could have false positives. But at the same time, I really think one of the biggest issues with this is just how Bethesda's handling it. It's very curious, peculiar, and it just seems like they're making it more difficult on themselves. I recognize the value of not announcing a ban wave. I don't think that's necessary, but it seems like there is numerous parts about this that just created way more confusion than it needed to. First and foremost, why do you do a ban wave on a Saturday when most of your staff are out of the office, when the community managers aren't available to address some of these concerns? Also, if you were going to do this ban wave, why wasn't there clear communication about this when people contacted support? Even right now on Twitter, you could still find the Bethesda support Twitter account actually saying, oh, look at this article, this might be what your issue is. That being the article that talks about not having your game redeemed correctly. This coupled with the fact that the actual official response from Bethesda was on a fairly obscure post, and they really haven't done it on a main social channel, like even creating their own post on Reddit or their own forums or just tweeting it. I feel like all those factors came together to make an otherwise fairly simple situation way too complex and way too confusing for people involved. But then even further, we're gonna beat a dead horse here, but I think this just further highlights issues with Bethesda support. I don't think ban waves are a bad thing for this game. I think they're actually fairly necessary when you do have such a widespread duping and glitching community. But at the same time, hopefully your support is more well equipped to actually give people answers as to what's going on and why they can't log in. Or to, hey, send out an email the second you're banned so you know exactly why you can't log in preemptively. Time and time again with these ban waves, it seems like the support staff is either just giving out confusing information or even just there's not enough of them. There were several people that reached out to support and had to wait over a day to actually get an answer, all the while just being curious as to why they couldn't play their game anymore. As far as my take on what's going on on here, I think this is going to be one of those things where there's some people that were banned legitimately. They duped, they had way too many items, and they got banned as a result. Some people have admitted to breaking the rules with this system, but I bet there's other people out there that didn't. I'm sure, like any system, this is an automated one with false positives. Even if it's 95% accurate, if they ban 1,000 accounts, that still leaves 50 people that did nothing wrong and got banned. But again, as I've echoed throughout this entire video, I feel like that's not really the issue. False positives happen. I feel like the bigger issue here is how Bethesda is handling it. I just think they could be doing a much better job as far as the communication around the bans go, or even further acknowledging some of the numerous posts out there right now that have people saying, hey, no, I didn't do anything wrong. I also think there's a pervasive issue on the subreddit for Fallout 76, which unfortunately continues to be one of the main hubs of discussion, where it depends how people feel about Bethesda at a given time as to what they will upvote or downvote or what's believed or not believed. A couple of weeks ago, people really disliked Bethesda because of the recent update that came out. Thus, people claiming to be wrongfully banned or unable to log in got hundreds, if not thousands, of upvotes. While in this latest ban wave, a lot of the posts before today, the posts from the past 2 days, got either downvoted or people saying, haha, dupers got banned. I just think it's an example of a certain kind of subjective truth that the subreddit chooses to pick, and that kind of defines what you're going to see on the front page. As far as that thing I talked about at the beginning of this video, as far as not really wanting to make this video, I'm honestly tired of making negative videos on Fallout 76. I feel like it's been done, it's clear, the game has a lot of issues. I think Bethesda wasn't well equipped enough to launch an online game due to how many issues there have been around things that involve online games, like exploits, updating the game, balancing the game in a timely manner. These are things they never really had to do before, and it's showing. But at the same time, I also feel like it would be doing a disservice to not talk about these things if I'm going to continue to talk about the positives around this. I get a lot more enjoyment talking about something that Bethesda did right with the game, or some of the cool new DLC that's on the way. But only talking about those things and not talking about these things would give people who watch this channel an unfair perspective, and that's not something I want to do. My goal really is to just remain as objective as possible and tell you what's going on with Fallout 76, whether that be good, bad, or somewhere in the middle as it normally is. Either way, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this one. As always, again, I thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.